Gentlemen, welcome to the Positive Club. Today, I have with me a very interesting person by name of Mrs. Cornelia. Tell us about yourself a little bit and what you do and how you got there.
Great, thanks. Thanks for having me join your Positive Club this morning. So, yeah, I've been in human resources for most of my career. I started off doing translations for resumes. So I was new to Vancouver and joined an organization that supported Francophones coming from Quebec and other countries around the world who spoke French. And so I started doing translation for resumes and helping them through with their career goals and that type of thing. And so I got into HR a long time ago and have been doing that ever since. It's been a great career. Every day is different. There's challenges every single day, and you never know what to expect. So that really appeals to me, that variety of challenges on a daily basis. And the last 13 years I spent as the HR manager for the City of Kelowna. So yeah, I've gone through a lot of different opportunities throughout my career.
That's very interesting. I mean, that's a long time that you work at this profession. What made you started to go for this?
You know, one of the fundamental things we have in our lives is our work, right? We spend hours at work every day, every week, and we have kind of our own work family that we spend time with. And so it's such an important, critical function in everyone's world. And so I saw how people struggled to get jobs that they wanted, to try to find the career that they loved. And, you know, then once inside the working environment, trying to make the work environment a positive one and productive one, where you go home at the end of the day and you said, yeah, that was a really good day. I accomplished so much and I feel satisfied with myself. And so it's a really big part of all our lives, and I thought I could make a difference in that area.
What is some of the most important things that you have learned?
That people will surprise you every time. You know, you might anticipate, oh, okay, this is what we're going to do, and this is how it's going to happen, and we can roll it out, and everybody's going to be thrilled. And all of a sudden, you know, somebody comes out of left field and says, oh, but, you know, have you thought about this? So, you know, there's always surprises with people. And I think the biggest thing that I've learned is that you need to be flexible. You need to be adaptable, and you need to have a good group of people around you to get all those different opinions, because my opinion and my thoughts are mine. Maybe they're similar to other people, but they're not the same as all people. So it's really important to have a collaborative team around you to help you get through those challenges of when you're trying to implement something or achieve something, that there's lots of different opinions and lots of different points of view. And you need all those to make it successful.
So what are some of your advice for people that are looking to get a job they really like?
Well, I've done a lot of recruitment in my career, so I know what it's like to review applications constantly. So I've done recruitment for a lot of technical, engineering, finance positions, trades, firefighters, airport employees, all types of jobs. So what I'm looking for in an application is what I've put in the ad is what I'm looking for. So you have to tailor your resume and your cover letter to match what I'm looking for. So if it talks about, you know, being energetic, being skilled in certain areas like customer service or whatever it may be, like, modify your cover letter and your resume so that you feed me the information. Don't make me look for that information. Don't make me dig around to see, oh, do they have, you know, a certificate in this or a degree in that. Just give it to me, feed me on a silver platter. And so make it easy for me to choose you. So that means you have to modify your resume and you have to modify your cover letter. The other thing people forget about is to include volunteer work. So volunteer work is very valuable in terms of skill building. So for example, somebody wants to be a manager or a supervisor, but in their regular job, they haven't had the opportunity to supervise people. But maybe they're working in a volunteer capacity where they're organizing an event, a fundraiser, and now they have a bunch of volunteers who are reporting to them. And so they're organizing what the people do and how to get this event off the ground, and they're doing fundraising and that type of thing. So all those skills that they've learned in that volunteer position are valuable skills. And I think people don't present that in a way that me as a recruiter, that I have access to that information easily. So there are lots of skills that you can transfer from one job to the other. So that's really important. The other thing is preparation. So when people go to an interview, they tend to forget that this is a business meeting. So first impressions count. So even if you're going for a landscaping job, and in your day-to-day work, you're wearing jeans and you're wearing steel-toe boots, and you're working out there, doing landscaping, working in the mud and the dirt. When you come to the interview, you still have to look professional. You're not going to come in the same clothing as you would in your day-to-day work. You want to look a little bit more professional. So clean and tidy with a shirt, that type of thing. So first impressions count. The other thing is practice your interview answers. Because even though a lot of people come to the interview and they think, oh, that manager, that HR person, they're in control of this meeting. Well, we're not really in control of the meeting, because all I have are the questions I'm going to ask you. You are in control of your answer. So you've got to take control of your answer and really make it easy for me to choose you, and make it easy for me to understand how your experience and your skills and your background are going to benefit me. So it is kind of like a sales pitch. So you have to practice that. And if you Google interview questions, you're going to get a million interview questions. So take those questions and practice. Practice with your friend, practice with your partner, your parents, whoever. Just practice out loud. Don't just think about the questions. Practice out loud. That's a huge benefit.
So what are some of the things that people say that are red flags for you as a professional?
A lot of times people use the word we. Oh, when I was working at this company, we did this and we did that and we accomplished these goals. And the interview is not about your old team or your old company or the company you're at. It's about you. I want to know what you did. And so I want to hear exactly what you did. So as part of a team, we all work as part of teams, different types of teams, smaller teams, larger teams. We all work together, but I really want to know about what you did. So I want to hear, as part of a team, we accomplished, 10% increase in sales, but my role in the team was this. I did this, and I initiated this. So I want to hear about what you did, and not the whole team. So that's a big, I wouldn't call it a red flag, but it's really not telling me about you. And this meeting is about you. So the other thing is when people say would. So tell me about a time when you had a conflict at work. Typical question, right? Tell us about a time you had conflict. When people start saying, well, I would do this or I would do that, it indicates to me that they haven't done it. So I want to hear about things you've done, how you've handled conflict, for example. What did you do? What were the steps you took to make a resolution happen? So I really want to hear what you did. And as part of that, I have kind of a trick to organize answers, which is give me the scenario, give me the actions you took, and what was the result. So I want an answer with a happy ending, where it did work out, and what the actions you took came came out positively. So don't give me kind of a sad story where, and then I got fired. No, I want to hear. And then I went on to better opportunities. So you have the power to create your own answer. That's kind of the message I'm trying to portray. Yes, as the recruiter, I am asking the questions, but you have the answers. So that's what I'm looking for. I want a happy ending. I want a well-organized answer, and I want to hear what you've done. And like I said before, if it's a volunteer position, that's fine. It's still valuable skills and experience that you bring to the table.
Okay, perfect. Can I have a question? Before the person comes to your office, you sit and Google their name and go to social media to see if there's anything weird out there.
We typically don't do that at the City of Kelowna. We have to ask for permission to contact a person's references before we do that. So we don't go snooping around to try and Google their names or things like that. We wait till we meet with the person, and then once we're interested in that individual, then we will ask permission to contact their references. So we don't go snooping around beforehand.
Okay, because I heard some companies, they do research on social media, all this stuff, before they even let the person to come in. So,
Yes, there are companies who do that. And if you are in job search mode, you should be aware that that companies do that. It's just like your voice message. We're calling to set up an interview with you. Think about the voice message you have on your phone. Some people have crazy ones, hey, what are you doing? And laughing and yelling and screaming and stuff like that. Or they have their kids saying, hi, you've reached, the Smith residence. So think about having, all your LinkedIn, your Google, your Facebook, your voice message, all professional. You want to have a professional image when you're in job search mode.
So when somebody comes in, right, what is the first thing you look at?
Energy. They're coming in, they're enthusiastic, they're nervous. Everybody gets nervous, so that's fine. But that energy and their first kind of like, hi, nice to meet you. That's really what appeals to me, that they're enthusiastic, they're motivated, they really want this job, they're nervous, and they're kind of forward moving. They want to get into it.
What about how they dress?
It's very different per job. So for example, like I said, if you're in landscaping or you're in a trades, jeans are acceptable, but neat and tidy, right? Neat, clean, tidy. So you can wear jeans and just a shirt to an interview is perfectly acceptable for certain types of jobs. If I'm looking at a financial analyst, I want something more professional, meaning a shirt and a tie, and maybe a jacket. So, but to me, the main thing is that the person is neat and tidy, that they've made an effort to kind of present themselves in a professional way. It doesn't have to be a three-piece suit or, super high heels for women or anything like that, but really neat and tidy and clean.
Earlier, we talked about how to tailor your resume. A lot of people have a problem with that. They go online, they watch all these videos, and they still don't know what to do. Can you give a couple of examples of how to do it and how many pages your resume should be?
Okay. So make sure you don't have any typos. That's still a big issue for people, right? There's still typos that happen.
I'm the king of typos.
So autocorrect is not necessarily your friend. And so a resume, typical resume, 2 pages. You can squeeze a lot of information into 2 pages. I like bullet form. I don't want to be reading, paragraphs of information. I want bullets. Like I said, feed me information that I can really scan quickly. I like also the resume to be kind of the latest job first. So the most recent job first, what you're doing right now, that's most relevant to me, and then go backwards in time. So the chronology starts with today's date and then goes backwards. I like to know what you've done for each company. So I like the company name, your title, and what you did at that company. So that makes it easy for me to understand what your background is. Cover letter, 2 pages max. Again, make it easy to read. Some people have a tendency to, have these long, convoluted sentences. And if you are applying for a communications job or something like that, they might think that's appropriate. But again, we want it easy to read, fast to read, where you're giving me the most information in the shortest period of time. Because again, when you have 500 applications, you want to go through those applications very quickly.
Can you give 2 examples of, let's say, the first part of the cover letter?
First paragraph is to confirm the job you're applying for. So that's another big mistake that people do. It's they have one cover letter for many jobs that they've applied on, and then they forget to change the title. So they're applying to another job at another company. And so you kind of say, oh, attention to detail, maybe not so good. So yeah, I like to reconfirm the job they're applying for. So if it is, I am applying as a financial analyst for the City of Kelowna or for ABC company. And tell me just right off the bat, what attracts you to this position? In terms of, I look forward to a promotional opportunity with more challenges. I look forward to supervising people. I look forward to, doing property taxes, yikes, or something like that. Tell me what has attracted you to this job in one sentence. Very straightforward. And so I guess I've already talked about what I don't like is like, make sure that you're applying for the right job, to the right person. A lot of times people call me Mr. Cornelia.
When you send an email, what should be in the email subject and then what should be in the email body?
In the subject, I like the job title that you're applying for. Usually there's a number related to that, like the posting number or the competition number. So that should be in the subject. And then again, short and sweet. I've applied for this job. Thank you very much. My application is attached. I don't want to see the cover letter 100 times.
So tell me some of the funny things that you've seen, some of the funny things that people done that they weren't supposed to do. What are those things?
The one that comes to mind is we were interviewing a person, and I always interview with the manager. And so again, we talk about typical question. Tell us about a time you had a bit of a conflict at work and what happened. So this individual says, well, you're going to find out anyway, but I killed someone at work.
Seriously?
Oh, yes. So I look at the manager and he looks at me and we're just like, oh my goodness. Like, what are we supposed to say? Anyway, it was completely accidental, and he explained the situation, and yeah, it was not his fault, and it was fine. But just the statement, that I killed someone at work was just like, we were speechless. So yeah.
As a business owner, what type of a subcontractor should you be adding to your business?
I think, somebody's record. So, have they fulfilled their contracts successfully? Do they get the job done at the end of the day? Or are they the type of person that comes back, with excuses, with problems, and that type of thing? You want somebody to get the job done, whether, again, they're subcontractor or you're going to hire an employee, a staff member. The other thing is, that's super valuable is diversity. To have that diversity of personality types, of experiences. So you know, if you have a team, for example, a sales team that's full of extroverts, extreme extroverts, you know, you're going to have just pandemonium going on, right? You're going to have people talking all over each other, and, you know, which is high energy, which is very motivating, but you need some introverts in the mix to step back and have that introverted type of thinking going on, and observation. You need diversity of experience and backgrounds, whether it's cultural backgrounds or just basic work experience backgrounds, educational backgrounds. So if you're going to build a team, whether it's subcontractors or employees, you need diversity, and diversity of all kinds. That would be my kind of advice.
Say that the person gets the job, and then there is the negotiation for the rate. That is very important, because I know so many people that when they negotiate, they kind of undersell themselves. What are some of the, I guess, technique?
The first step is research. Okay, so in a unionized environment, you have access to collective agreements, which include the rates of pay, and there you can evaluate if you can negotiate, because in some union environments, the rate is the rate, and it has been negotiated with the union as your representative. So in some instances, you can't really negotiate for money. Otherwise, you can negotiate for other things, such as vacation time, right? That is not a cash out situation for a company, right? They don't have to pay you cash in terms of money, but time off is equivalent to cash. So you can ask for another week of vacation. You can ask for different hours of work. Maybe it's more convenient, you know, for you to start later and a bit later in the day, so have that flexibility of hours of work. You can ask for the benefits package. You know, is dental covered? Is, you know, extended prescriptions, eyewear, those types of things, are those things covered? They all have a monetary value, but it's not necessarily cash in your pocket, but they do have a monetary value at the end of the day. So time off, scheduling, overtime, you know, do you get overtime, or is it time off in lieu of the overtime you've done? Benefits. So lots of different things like that you can negotiate if the wage is set and you can't negotiate the actual salary.
What are five tools that you can learn to advance in a company?
Okay, I'll think of five, not necessarily in order of priority. Your professional, if you have a professional association, get that credential. So, for example, in human resources, we have a human resources professional designation, which I have, which is a CPHR. So I put those letters behind my name. And so it does build your credibility as a professional in that area. So if you have a professional association, join it, because you want to put that on your resume, or, you know, the letters behind your name. I think innovation, thinking with innovation in mind. And so innovation, you know, demonstrates to the people around you, your boss, your supervisor, that you're not just doing your job. You know, you come in, you do your job, and away you go. If you're thinking with innovation in mind, you're coming up with solutions. So it could be something simple as streamlining a procedure that saves time. Maybe it saves people half an hour a day. Like, that's awesome. So be innovative and present your ideas. Don't be shy about it, because you never know what can come of it, right? There's no ideas that are dumb ideas. So think about innovation. I think also thinking about your team and supporting your team shows that you know, again, you don't want to sound like a broken record. I'm a great team player. But it's true. If you support your team and if you're helpful, if you don't hide information, if you provide information, you're open, that type of thing also will push you forward. I think the other thing is being credible, doing what you say you'll do, right? Build your own credibility. Follow through. If you say it's going to be done by Monday, do it by Monday. Do it by Friday. Be there and then also think about, hopefully your employer will support you, but think about, going to education. Further your education, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a trade show, whether it's a conference, podcasts like this, right? Like build your skills, build your knowledge. And so keep it up. Don't just think, okay, I got my degree or I got my certificate, now I'm done. Keep that education and knowledge building going.
A lot of companies are not very good to their employees. A lot of hard-working employees, they leave because they're tired of not being appreciated. And the lazy ones stay and, they destroy the business. What should businesses do to retain these good people? Good employees.
Acknowledgement is the number one thing that employees are looking for from their supervisor. And usually it's their direct supervisor. The direct supervisor has the most impact on the person staying or leaving. It's not the work, it's not the team necessarily, it is the direct supervisor. And it's not money. So I'm not quoting an actual survey, I'm just quoting, my knowledge through the years. It's acknowledgement and appreciation for what they do. So, a card saying, you know what, you did this project and you were fantastic and I appreciate the effort you put into it. You don't have to go spending a lot of money to appreciate someone, to say thank you. Thank you for coming in and doing what you do every day. So it can be a lot of little things showing your appreciation. The other thing is fairness. So if one person who's really good at their job is getting loaded up with all the work all the time, it's not fair. You have to be aware as a manager that you have to not load up the person who's the high performer with more work. You also have to look at the other people who are not performing and calling them on it and saying, you know what, I think you've got to pull up your socks here. You've got to speed up. You've got to provide better customer service. Whatever the issue is, you have to be honest with them and call them on it, because it's not fair for the high performer to be the one doing all the work and having all the responsibility on their shoulders. And it's hard to do. It's hard to be fair and equitable to everyone. But that's something that really can have a negative impact on somebody who's a high performer and a really good employee.
Is there anything else that you'd like to talk about to the audience?
I think on the other side of the coin, if there are people out there watching who have an interest in human resources as a career, it is a fantastic career. There are so many different aspects that are incorporated in human resources. There's compensation, there's disability management, so helping people who are off sick. There's safety, so workplace health and safety is part of HR. Of course, recruitment, labor relations and employee relations are huge. Building the culture in a company is part of human resources. Career development and education and training is part of human resources. It's a fabulous career. There's so many different aspects, and you can become a specialist in one area if that's what you really like, or you can become a generalist and touch on all kinds of aspects. So if you're interested in HR, investigate it. It is fabulous.
What is some of your best exciting time in your career? Some of the most interesting, some of the most fun, some of the things that stayed with you.
I think people might scratch their head, but I think it's the negotiations and kind of labor issues working with the unions. So people say, oh, that's lots of conflict and, you know, you're kind of arguing with the union and that type of thing. But I always saw it as a challenge to find a solution. And, you know, working with different people, because again, I've worked with so many different types of unions, and, you know, finding solutions that are equitable and fair and long lasting. So I found that really exciting, and you know, sometimes you have some frank conversations with people, you know, in private, you know, and it's really enlightening as to people's personalities and what motivates people, which I also find super interesting. Like, what motivates people to come to work and do a good job? Because it's not the money at the end of the day. It really is about, you know, what type of job they're in and how people, you know, appreciate them and their job satisfaction. So yeah, those kinds of what people perceive as conflict, I see as opportunities for solutions. So yeah.
It's good. Anything else you want to share? That's it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think I just wanted to mention, you know, again, back to the recruitment and being on the interviewer side of the table. The other thing I think in terms of advice I have for people is it's your time to shine. So tell us about you. Tell us great things about you. People are often too modest, and they don't want to, you know, they don't want to be like, oh, I'm the best, I'm the greatest, you know, I'm Rocky, whatever, you know. They feel shy, you know, about saying things like that. And especially women. There's so many women I've interviewed who just don't talk about the skills, the great skills and experience they have, because they don't want to be perceived as, you know, being boastful or being egocentric and, you know, conceited or, you know, kind of bitchy or anything like that, right? They don't want to be perceived that way. So they downplay everything, you know, and they really shouldn't. People should just say what you've done. Have you completed this project? Yes or no? Yes? Well, then tell me about it. You know, you don't have to be boastful about it, but you just have to tell me the facts. And don't downplay it. And like I said, especially women have that tendency to do that. And I think they sell themselves short. So, you know, get out there and tell it like it is, and tell us about your successes, and just lay it out there. That's kind of hopefully what people take away from this.
That's a really good point. You know, in our society, everybody, I mean, not all, but a lot of people, they downplay everything. You know, everybody is suffering from low self-confidence, low self-esteem, and that's how you end up in a job you don't like, you know, because you don't believe that you have all the experiences which you have. You just don't accept it. So you end up in these jobs that, you know, you don't like, right? And lots of people don't realize that, and then it's too late, right? It was a pleasure having you on the Positive Club podcast. Just before you go, where can people find you? Do you have a website? Do you have anything like that people can reach you if they have any questions?
No, I don't have a website up yet, but I am at, I don't know if you can post my email address.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah, but basically, you know, I hope people got something from seeing the other side, you know, getting some sort of insider information on how it works with recruitment and interviews and that type of thing. And thank you so much for your invitation. It's been fun.
Thank you very much for coming on the show. You have yourself a fantastic